All right, episode 4 is going to be a little more advanced, okay? I preach to take singular fair value gaps that are very obvious. Okay, so this one, it's singular. It's the only one in the leg, and this is the 30-second time frame. And, as I'm looking at the setup here, there's no series of fair value gaps, and it closes above. Boom, you get in, okay? But as you'll notice in my live streams, a lot of times I will mark multiple fair value gaps, like a series of gaps. So that basically means, like, see here how we have a bearish fair value gap here and a bearish fair value gap here. So I will combine those into one fair value gap. So here's a singular one. This is for like beginners. Here's a series one where I need to see both fair value gaps get closed above. So see how this one gets closed above, but this one does not get closed above. So in this situation, this would not be a valid inverse. I combine it into one and I wait for both to get closed above. And you can see if we look to the right here, see how we don't close above this one, don't close above here, but we close above this one, yet we still go down. It's because we ideally want both of these to be closed above. Okay, and you can see when this is closed above, it works. Now, the more advanced you get in trading, okay, you will find setups that look good. It closes above it hits the internal high at the same time, and you might still want to take these setups. So, for example, today, okay, as the time I'm making this video, we have a BPR here, and it's basically a bullish gap lining up with a bearish gap. And you can see right here, it didn't close above, but here it did. But the issue is it hit the internal high, so it's technically not valid. But did I still see some of my students take this trade? Yes, I did. I still saw some of my students take this trade. If we turn on my IVG indicator here, I believe it was actually still alerted, believe it or not. And was it still a fine trade to take? Yes, it was. If you're really confident in the drawn liquidity being higher, because here's the thing, the more advanced you get in trading, the more you're going to be like, okay, like this is a super, super high probability close. Right, it just looks good. I think this should be insensitive. It looked good, and there's a ton of momentum that just closes above this gap. And if I see all of a sudden this momentum candle that just blasts above this bearish fair value gap here, okay, then I likely know that, okay, I'm already bullish. I know hit the internal high, but I like this as a discretion model back to the New York AM high, which you can see my indicator does mark out here. Now, I am in the wrong settings right here because I think I messed up by deleting my indicator before, but I know for a fact that my indicator definitely alerted this some way or another. I'm not sure what I'd put on or off, but it shows you that you can be discretionary the more you trade. Okay, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I have to follow the rule where I look for a singular fair value gap. I make sure it doesn't close above the internal high, because the more discretionary you get and the more you understand how the market moves, the more you're going to kind of see these moves and be like, okay, I'm going to get in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of that. There's really, besides from that, drawing liquidity is the number one most important thing. Okay, you guys got to understand that a 34% win rate or higher at taking a fair value gap at 2R higher is profitable. If you take 2R setups, don't scale, just 2R setups only, and you have higher than a 50% win rate, you will be very profitable. You need a 33% win rate to break even, but you need a 2R break even to be very profitable. So what does that entail? That means if you think setups like this that are going with the drawn liquidity have more than a 50% win rate or 50% win rate or more, which it likely does because it's a B setup, the more you get years down the road, the more setups like this are going to be willing to take. But if you find yourself losing after losing, go back to the basics. Go back to singular fair value gap. Make sure it doesn't hit the high here, right? So that's like the number one most important thing, okay? And you're going to know that with experience. Beginners, don't worry about that for now, but with experience, you can understand that. Now, I'm going to make one more thing about the break-even rule. So this is a little more advanced, like I said, but what's another spot I go break even? Okay, well, let's go down here. You can see that we have a nice trade, 30-second. You can actually, like, isn't it funny how as I'm making this video, I was going right to the setup? Like, isn't it funny how I was on the 3 minute and I knew there was a 30-second there? It's because of screen time. Like, every single time I see a 3 minute, like, a giant engulfing candle here, I know it's probably a lower time frame IVG. So I go to the 30-second and you can see it just shows a perfect setup, or it shows it set up perfectly. My indicator alerted it. We sweep this low here. We deliver out of this fair value gap, and dude, honestly, this is insane. Okay, but look at this. Where's another spot you can go break even? And fair value gap. Okay, and this goes back to my break even rule. When we get this close above, I obviously the next internal high is here, so I'm going to go break even. And the key part about this is it's a high inside of a fair value gap, okay, which is going to be in my last video, my video 6 about targets for fair value gap, or sorry, video 5 is going to be the last video. And I will go break even here. But what's like another break even spot? Inefficiencies. Okay, so let me see if I can find an example real quick. So let's say you take this 2-minute inverse right here, right? It's a series of gaps, and you can see, let's say you put your stop at the high, and obviously this is at 5 a.m. I would not be trading this time, so you can see it's a bit choppy. But let's say there's 0 lows here to go break even. Okay, let's say there's just no lows here to go break even. You're like, okay, well, how do I go break even? You go break even at the next inefficiency. So there's a 15-minute gap here. See it right here? There's a little 15-minute gap. If you're in like a 2-minute short right here and there's no spots to go break even all the way down, go break even at the next gap. And you can see in the 15-minute, I'd go break even here. Okay, so that would be my break even spot. Okay, let me go to another example. So like right here, let's pretend that there's an inversion here. Obviously, there's really not. I mean, there's a little tiny one here and a little tiny one here, but they don't stand out and they're not obvious. And I can't see them 10 feet away from my screen. Okay, so I wouldn't use that one. But, okay, where's a break-even point? Well, the next internal high would be here, right? But there's an inefficiency before that, so I'd probably go break even with the inefficiency. Now, I will say this again. As you get more trading experience, you might choose to not go break even here thinking, okay, I have a lot of conviction this is going to break. Maybe you don't. But you need to already be very profitable, and you need to be going 2 hour for 2 hour higher. Okay, you can't be going for 1 hour plays doing that. Okay. So anything else I need to cover? Last thing, again, another thing for advanced traders is going to be the obviousness of the fair value gap. I teach beginners to take very, very obvious fair value gaps, okay? But as you trade longer and longer, you're going to see fair value gaps that are tiny and you cannot see 10 feet away from your screen that I will still take sometimes if I think the RR is there and I still think it's a very good momentum candle. So do you see how this RR to this high is about still 2R, but it's a pretty tiny fair value gap, and this fair value gap's like 4 points? Well, to be honest, we're still delivering off of this. I would still be confident in the draw and liquidity being higher, okay? And I like this momentum candle a lot. Look at how good this momentum candle is. So do the stars still line for me there with draw and liquidity, RR, and delivery? Yes, because we're delivering off of a higher time frame gap, as the PDF says, which I obviously in the premium Discord, you should, as you're watching these videos, you should be referencing the PDF, okay? And it closes above, right? Very good momentum. And like some of these setups, the more advanced you get, you're going to notice also have a chain to state delivery. So this is going to be a chain to state delivery. So it's like, yes, even though the fair value gap's not that obvious, does it still have a CISD? Are we still sweeping liquidity to the left? Yes. And like, if the RR is good here, I still like these setups, and these are still going to be light bulb to me, even though they're not that obvious. And this will come with more experience down the road, which the more if you're in the game for 3 years, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, that's the only way I can say it. You're just going to have to trade for a long time. But again, if you're struggling, if you're new, start with the very obvious gaps. They should be like this. They should stand out. They should, be very, very obvious. Like, look at this one. See how you can combine these? right? This is super obvious right here. Okay, same thing with this. This is super, super, super obvious here, right? I'm combining both. So those are the ones you're going to want to use from now. Okay, this is going to be video 4. Last one more video. Video 5 is going to cover types of targets and how I find my draw on liquidity using inversions.